So you're getting ready for baby and you've got to pack a delivery bag. And everybody's telling you about this delivery bag and you're like, where do I start? What do I put in that bad boy? In this video, we're going to take a more simplistic approach to packing a delivery bag, and hopefully you find this helpful. If you have any other tips that you want to share with others, feel free to put it in the comments. My name is Nikki and this is the Aziza Experience. So, when do you pack your delivery bag? So, honestly, I'm a planner. So, I like to do things as soon as I possibly can in advance while also knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. I would recommend packing around 35 weeks, especially if you're a high risk pregnancy. Packing around 35 weeks would be ideal, especially because you don't want to wait to the very, very end because you might be tired. You don't know. You could go into delivery a little bit earlier. You never know. So that's what I would recommend. It doesn't hurt to start a little bit earlier. So what kind of bag should you use? I would recommend using any bag that you already have. And that's one thing I would say. In this day and age, there's no shortage of big bags. There is, whether it's a handbag you have or it's a reusable bag that you got at the grocery store, whatever it may be, there's always bags that are available. So I used a tote bag and I used a small suitcase, carry-on suitcase. So I put my tote bag on top of my suitcase and that was all I took to the hospital. So that was the approach that I took, but you may decide to use another approach in terms of what bags you bring. But one thing to keep in mind is most of what you need is at the hospital. So I would recommend checking in with your OB, checking in with the hospital that you're going to deliver at, to see what items they already provide. There may be webinars or classes that already share this information with you, or you may need to actually ask in person, like, hey, or give them a call to see what's going to be available during my stay at the hospital. So what do you put in the bags? So I'm gonna tell you what my approach was. So remember I had a tote bag and then I had a suitcase. So in the tote bag, I specifically put my identification information. I put medical cards, medical information. I didn't need to bring any medications with me, so because everything that I needed would have been at the hospital, but I would check with my doctors if I was you and the hospital to make sure that there's nothing that you need to bring, especially if you have a very special medication that perhaps might not be available. I also brought my planner with me, so I knew that there were some appointments I might have to schedule while I'm there. But you can use a planner, you can use just regular paper, notebook, whatever, just to write things down, jot things down as you learn throughout the process. Especially after you give birth, there's some things that you may want to write down as just to remember. Instructions, how to breastfeed, whatever it may be. I would also bring hair ties or some type of way of pulling your hair back. So whether it's hair ties, bonnets, hair clips, a scarf, something to take your hair out of your face, because you're not going to want it in your face when you're at the hospital giving birth. I would also bring any necessary eyewear that you have, whether you use glasses or you use contacts. If you do bring contacts, I would definitely recommend bringing glasses just in the event that you can't use your contacts. For instance, if you have to go into surgery or something like that, you want to have glasses as backup because you can easily take it off. I would recommend having a birthing plan. So I know you're like, what do you mean having a birthing plan? I already discussed that with my OB. Honestly, I wrote out a birthing plan that I discussed with my partner and my aunt who was in the delivery room with me. So in the event that I just was not in a space where I could communicate the things that I wanted to the nurse, the doctor, I needed them to know exactly what was important to me and things that I preferred. So I wrote it all on a piece of paper. I actually typed it up. And then I shared that with them in advance so that they had it. It had emergency contact information for like my brother. It also had information for my employer to let them know that, when if I ended up going into giving birth earlier than expected, they could contact my employer for me. So I just had all the things on that paper that I typed up just in case. And it was funny because when I shared it with the nurse at the hospital, she thought it was the funniest thing, and she was like, "I love this." She's like, "I'm putting it in your medical folder." So I was like, the fact that she entertained it, I was like, all right, that makes me feel a little bit better. I don't know if they actually did anything with it, but it made me feel good. If you are religious, I would bring your religious text with you. If you need something inspirational, I would bring inspirational book or something inspirational with you. Maybe it's pictures of loved ones to have while you're in the hospital. Just something to inspire you, whether it's religious or there's people, whether it's quotes or whatever. Bring something in you to help you get you through the whole process. The other thing is, most likely you're going to have your cell phone on you. Now, here's the thing. I would recommend bringing a long cord to charge your phone, because the thing that people don't talk about enough is hospitals really don't have the best charging like outlets. They, in terms of like power outlets, they either don't have enough or they're just not situated in the right place. So you may find that you need a really long cord because the outlet isn't close to you where you can plug in your phone. There may be outlets, but they may not be accessible. They might be for medical items or equipment. So I would definitely bring a long cord just in case you need that extra length. I also would bring a fan. So I put a fan in my tote. In the event I got really, really hot. Remember, I gave birth during the summer, so I just in case I really needed it, I brought it with me. The hospitals tend to be cool anyway, but when you're giving birth, your body's going to get hot. So I just brought a fan, and it's not like it went to waste because I still have it. That I can use the fan. It's one of those fans that actually wrap around a maybe like a bedside railing, or it could be wrapped on a stroller, so I can use it later on when my son and I go for walks or things like that. So definitely recommend a fan. If you don't use it, you don't use it, but you have it if you do. So the other thing I would recommend is lounge shoes. I specifically got Crocs. Now, before getting pregnant, y'all, I did not like Crocs. I hated Crocs. I thought they were the ugliest thing. But once I became pregnant, I swear there was nothing soft enough for my feet except for Crocs. And my partner loves Crocs, so they really put me on to it, and I was like, okay, fine. I found myself wearing their Crocs more often to the point where I was like, let me get my own. And I got 2 pair, y'all. I got 2 pair. The Nikki a few years ago would have been like, never, ever. Now I am a firm believer. So I would definitely have some lounge shoes that you can walk around with socks in case your feet get a little cold, but something soft if you need to walk back and forth, because you don't know how long you're going to be there for. All right, so what did I put in the suitcase? So I brought a very small carry-on suitcase, and I put clothing in there for myself and my partner, so everything fit into that one suitcase. We didn't have to worry about having multiple bags, or he had to have a separate bag than me. Like, everything was right there, and I had him give me 2 sets of clothing, and we packed that in like in the beginning of the 3rd trimester, y'all. I was not playing around. You don't know how long you're going to be at the hospital, so it's just good to have extra pairs of clothing that you don't have to worry about. If the hospital doesn't supply specific items that you want there, then bring it with you, especially if they're bigger items. So for instance, I brought a fitness ball and a yoga mat. Now, I wasn't sure if they were going to have it for sure. Some said that they would. Some said they, just in case they might run out. I didn't want to risk it, so I brought a fitness ball with me and a yoga mat. Granted, I didn't use either one of them, but that was fine because for larger items like that, I kept it in the car. So we drove to the hospital in our car, and so I kept those larger items in the car. In the event that I needed them, my partner knew that they were in the car and to bring them back to my hospital room. So I would recommend any large items that you want to bring with you, just keep them in the car if you're bringing a car with you. And if you're like using rideshare or whatever it may be, just have them ready in the event you want to bring them with you. what are some things you have to have? So the things you need to have, the hospital will tell you it's going to be a car seat. They want to make sure that you can get the baby safely home from the hospital to your home. So you're definitely going to be asked to provide a car seat. So I would recommend setting up a car seat in your car in advance and having it ready around the same time you're getting the delivery bag and all that ready. If you're taking a ride share, I'd recommend like borrowing someone's car or whatever it may be, and trying to see if you can hook up the car seat in advance and see how do you maneuver the car seat so that when it happens and you need to bring it with you, you can do so. Some hospitals require that they check to make sure that the car seat is in properly. Some don't. But I would just recommend just have a better idea of how to use and set up the car seat before you get to the hospital. So that's it. That's all the items I would recommend that you have in your delivery bag. And for me, it was a delivery bag and suitcase. And so that was enough for us. And I would just recommend, think about what you need specifically. It's helpful to gather information from other sources, but everybody's different. So consider what your essentials are and what are some things that are just comforts that you want to have there. So I hope you found this helpful. My name is Nikki, and this is the Aziza Experience.